What's up? What's up, everybody? We're about to get this going. We got some good charts to look at. We got some interesting price action today, but I got a little bit of a warning shot for you. Make sure that we can identify the levels that we can make the best decisions and make sure that we're getting in when we need to, not getting in and then have to ride through a bunch of troublesome downside right after we bought. So let's talk about that. Everybody get involved in the stream. If you're here, we got a couple people here early. We're about to get this going. So everybody hit that like button. Let's get it together. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you're tuned in from. We got some things to talk about today. Price action on the charts is still giving us that sort of hopium about price action pushing to the upside. But what areas do we need to watch? We got a lot of other stuff we need to talk about here as well. Institutions getting involved. We got a target of $7 to $8 trillion market cap for Bitcoin. Whoo, what would that mean for price? We're talking about Visa enabling some things on crypto. We got Google starting to push those crypto ads. Institutions advertising about Bitcoin spot ETFs. It's going to be a huge outreach. We're going to talk about what's going on with GBTC and the flippening, showing a lot of positive net inflows coming in and a lot more to cover today. So let's go ahead and discuss what we want to discuss. Everybody, if you're here now, if you're here early, I just want to shout out to each and every one of you. We got a lot of members here in the stream. We got Alex Green, Sawtooth Hiker, Alexander G, Donato Cabrera, Crimson Caravan, and so many others. I see you all with those beakers next to your name. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name's Kelly Kellum. Welcome to the show where we break down in a positive, encouraging, and understandable way how to understand what the hell's going on in this market and strategies to make sure that you know how to dominate. So as you roll in, we're about to break down all these charts. As you roll in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell, and let's talk about what we want to talk about today. Now, first things first, coming back over to the charts, Bitcoin starting to push to the upside. We just talked about this. Now, this is a very, very interesting place that Bitcoin is in right now. Very interesting because we're sitting right here above a very key level. This key level, not just this diagonal here, but this one here. We've been talking about this for months. We've been talking about this line all the way since it was created with this point right here. And we can see we're sitting, when we zoom in on this, we're sitting at a very interesting level because yes, we broke through it. Some people want to think, they want to jump in very quickly and say, we broke it. It means it's going up. We very, very well may go up, but I have a hawk eye on this level right here because this is going to be a sort of a breakthrough continuation and still a retest up here in the 48K region, or a potential rejection, because everybody sees this and they say we're going full bull again. But I would argue, I would beg to differ right now. We need to be a little cautious. Now, similarly, when we come out here, we look at Cardano making moves, but is it making money moves? I don't know, because we're pushing up right into the 382 level right here. Similarly, we got SEI showing some bullish expansion. I mean, look at this move here. This move right here. Is this move, watch, I'll show you what I'm talking about. This move right here, is the next move bigger or smaller? Well, it looks like this goes a bit higher, showing some bullish expansion with a growing awareness around this project and a little bit of a retrace here, but we're also at a very key level right now in terms of what's going to happen, because look, we are right here at the trend signal line. We're going to be going a lot deeper on these, so don't worry about me glossing over this very quickly because we are going to go deeper. We also see Avalanche making some moves, but being held a little bit stagnant without breaking past this previous range high. We got a lot to talk about through all this. And before we dive into these charts, before we dive into all the TA, before we break down these signals and give you more of those goods, I want to see every single one of you that's in the room right now. Got over 130 people in here. Every single one of you needs to hit that like button. Join us. Look down below the video right now. When you're watching right here, I want you to scroll down and see. Make sure your thing says subscribe. Make sure you hit that like button. Join us in this family. Now, we got some things to talk about. Now, institutions. This is going to be the name of the game that's going to, especially with how large Bitcoin has become comparatively with previous cycles, a lot more monetary energy is needed to get us to those levels that we're looking for. And this is the name of the game for what we want to see right now, and that is this. Question posed by Juan Leon says, how many institutions does it take to turn on the mainstream crypto light bulb? Well, what we're looking at here is crypto trading in custody. Look at all these. Bank of America, BlackRock, BNY Mellon, CBOE, Charles Schwab, CME, Chicago Mercantile Exchange. That's what CME stands for. Deutsche Bank, Fidelity, Franklin Templeton, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase. MasterCard's not quite there yet. Morgan Stanley's not quite there yet, but they do have private crypto funds. You see this? MasterCard does not yet. But we also see PayPal, Societe Generale, UBS, Visa. What does this mean? When we see the number of institutions that are involved with crypto right now, before the true explosive bull market really kicks off and gets underway after the halving, ignore the mainstream media narrative. Ignore all this FUD talking points from people like Jamie Dimon. Look at the data. Institutions are getting on board. And as they get on board, that means there's going to be new avenues for capital to come into this market. And not only that, as price pushes up, the price itself is going to generate its own press. It's going to generate its own free advertisement because it drives that hype of retail. In addition to all this, we have all these Bitcoin spot ETFs from some of the biggest asset managers in the history of the world that are now advertising as well. So not only do they have small mom and pop shops that are under their banner pushing to their clients, but we're also seeing broad advertising. We are in the perfect storm. The question is, are you ready? Do you have a strategy to make sure that you can tackle this market and not get left behind? That's what we need to ask ourselves every step of the way right now. Is what I'm doing driving me towards having more Bitcoin or more value in the crypto world? Or am I being a little too greedy and trying to trade every single move and only getting chopped out? We got to ask ourselves these questions so we don't get left behind, because we're seeing all of these different things showing some of the biggest institutions in the world becoming involved. So let's not put the cart before the horse. We also see, look, hedge fund chief Scaramucci, Anthony Scaramucci here, will easily get to half the market cap of gold. That's a 7 to 8 trillion. That's a $400,000 coin. The question is, does this mean tomorrow? Does this mean this month? Does this mean in the next 2 years? There's no way to know. But I would argue within the next 5 years, for sure this would happen. Between this cycle and next cycle, maybe we get there this cycle, maybe we get next. Either way, the trajectory, the adoption curve, all the data suggests this is, I don't want to say a foregone conclusion, but all the data suggests we are headed there, and sooner than some people may think, especially if you're thinking long term. We also see Visa. They've already been participating and getting more and more active and trying to tie together things with the blockchain and crypto space. And now we see Visa enables direct crypto to card withdrawals in 145 nations. The on-ramps, the off-ramps, the convenience of how to navigate this market getting better. And when we see institutions like this, what do they also do? They roll it out to the clientele, and they also advertise these new features. All things are pointing to bullishness right now. Google, this is what we were just talking about, allowing the Bitcoin ETF ads. We're seeing this all over the place. I saw a bunch of people just posting in screenshots, typing in Bitcoin ETF, and it's just ad. And even when you search Bitcoin now, and this is going to only scale up as the money gets stronger and the marketing becomes more effective. Man, I am excited. Are you guys excited right now? I want to know, everybody that's in the chat right now. We got 147 people in here live at this moment. Even if you're watching this later, what is your born on date? What month and year did you first get into crypto? And did you buy Bitcoin at that time? And if not, how long did it take you to get some exposure to Bitcoin? I'm curious to see where everybody's at on that, because we all have different roads that lead us to this ecosystem. But we're here. You're here. You're ahead. And that's what matters. Now, I want to talk a little bit about this, and then we're going to dive right into the TA, because I have to do a little bit of a shorter stream today. But the dumping of Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, now ETF, by FTX is over. FTX had to unwind about over $1 billion worth of their positions in GBTC, as well as other institutional players and such, and small people as well, small holders. But we saw a huge outflow that created a lot of uncertainty and a lot of selling pressure, at least in terms of narrative within the market. Now we're seeing Bitcoin ETFs see a big whoosh of net inflows. If we zoom in on this, what we're seeing here, Fidelity, look at this. This is the outflows from Grayscale. And we see these are met up with about equanimity. It's about equal. But now look at the difference here. Now we're seeing the buying pressure within, it's going to be mostly in the OTC market, but as we see those reserves dwindle, that's only going to cause for positive speculation in the market. This is bullish. We also see right here, day 12, the ETF Cointucky Derby update, net flows are back above $1 billion. Fidelity and BlackRock took in around $200 million each. Both BitB and ARKB are above $600 million in assets. We're seeing some positivity, and this ETF was not a failure. We just had to unwind some of that speculation that was pushing into that January 10th decision. Nothing was wrong. It's just how markets operate. Now, there's something I want to just highlight here, and we have to be aware of this. I'm in Bitcoin because I believe in it. I'm in Bitcoin because it's decentralized. I'm in Bitcoin because it's an agnostic monetary system separate from any government or individual party. But that does not mean that it is separate from the global financial system. That being said, we do have to concern ourselves a little bit. If we come over here to this chart, I can actually come down. Where is it at? Here we go, Bitcoin and S&P 500. So this chart right here, let me come, for some reason it didn't come up. There we go. This is a correlation. We're seeing Bitcoin is orange and the S&P 500 is blue. We're seeing a pretty strong correlation with the directionality of the market. Now, it's not exact. And for instance, we saw this huge sell-off right here, but this was also because these are two different parts of the market. And this was partially represented by the fact, one, we had bearish divergence coming into this and a lot of weakness coming into this. Huge expansion, smaller expansion, even smaller expansion, new lower low, new lower high, collapse. So you can explain it on the chart as well as understanding the narrative, the broader narrative in crypto. The Chinese mining ban was right here as well. So whether that had a lot of selling pressure or it just shaped that negative speculation, either way, we saw a pretty big drawback as S&P was still pushing up. But as this continued to rise, we did see the subsequent follow through with Bitcoin pushing back up and retesting these highs again, actually breaking past them just a little bit. But then as this broke down, so too did the S&P 500 break down. These things are tied by more than just the speculation in the market. It's understanding the global liquidity, the credit cycles, understanding the flow of capital around the world. All these things are tied together. At some point, Bitcoin and the S&P 500 may have significant periods of time where they are not tied together. But as it stands right now, we are seeing this massive move up in S&P 500. We're seeing this move up on Bitcoin with a little bit of hesitation here. This is a speculation pump from the ETF. The subsequent sell-off, sell the news event. And the worry I have right here is there are some signs in the charts. Let's get back over there. There's some signs in the charts right here that suggest there could be something, a little bit of unwinding in these traditional markets. And the question is going to be, how much pressure does that put on Bitcoin, or does Bitcoin become the true hedge everybody wants it to be? We see, well, looking at the Russell 2000, it's clear there's a much bigger slowdown in the US economy than what's being sold to the public. How does one know this? Well, first, for the Russell 2000 companies who have reported Q4 earnings, and what we're seeing here, we zoom in on this, look at this. We're getting pretty significant drawdowns on some of these companies. And it's also, right, there's a balance of that too with some pretty large growth in other sectors. But the whole point with this is not to sow any fear, doubt, or speculation around it. It's just, let's be aware that Bitcoin is part of a larger picture. It's not just Bitcoin. And what we're seeing right now with China and Evergrande, there's some conflicting narratives and ideas and theories about what this could mean. We could see a knockdown, drag down effect on the global economy with all this happening if there's a domino effect outside of Evergrande into other parts of the world markets. However, on the same token, you could also argue that Bitcoin is well established enough now that, especially in somewhere like China, where people are, they're starting to get access to trade these types of funds outside of their government control in some capacity, that they may start diversifying their money more and more into this type of asset. So it could literally go one of two ways. And people hate it when analysts say that, but there's two different possibilities, which is why we always mark out two different directions on the chart. Now, if we come back over to the dashboard here on Bitcoin strategy platform and look at the key levels, I want you to notice something. What is something that I talk about regularly when we talk about potential reversals? You see this move up right here. Well, there's a telling sign in the chart that suggested a further pullback. That is this move up. Now on this push up, this impulse to the upside, we got a lower low followed by a lower high and an M formation right there, a reversal pattern. And this was about the 61 fib from this portion of this. This was about 61.8 fib, potential reversal area. And what did we do? We got moved down. So where we're at right now, we have to look in context of other, the historical movements on the price to understand what could happen. And that what could happen could actually absolutely be shattered. Nothing is 100%. There's a probability matrix that we're trying to stack in our favor. Right now, the probability matrix says, based on the halving cycles and understanding how these markets work and looking at this, halving up, halving up, halving up, right now, regardless of what happens between now and April, when we have this halving, and even potentially shortly after, mid-April into May, this does not mean we have to go up now. And if we go down now, it's not, I don't want to even say cause for concern. It's not something that we should be worried about unless you're hyper-focused on the 1 hour chart and you have a trade in the wrong direction. Right now, we can look for any opportunity with price action coming down as ultimately the last opportunities we're going to get to harness the power of gains of this. So are you not entertained by this market and what is coming? Especially as you get more knowledge of this, you feel like you're less alone in this market. You feel like you're less just left out in the cold. Every time you buy it, reverse it. No, the more you know, the more you can gain in this market. And that's why I'm proud for each and every single one of you that's here on a daily basis. So while you're here, if you haven't yet, hit that like button, subscribe, ding the bell, join us in here, baby. Now, there's a couple of things we want to talk about when we're looking at these charts. Bitcoin. I talked about this on Discover Crypto. We have a bit of an Elliott wave here on the chart where, and this is going to be speculative. It's going to change based on how one may draw it. But we have this sort of wave, a little bit of a correction here, wave. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And typically when you get this type of setup, what you see next is a follow through of a breakdown of A, B, C correction. In the C correction, there's no way to say where that C is going to be. Coming down here into the 38 could fulfill that. It also could come down here into the 36. It also could come down here to the 34. The point is, this is what I feel like is most likely right now, but there's a little bit of a hesitancy to say that with authority because of the underlying bullishness regarding the ETS still seeing super strong inflows and the outflows from GPT slowing down so magnanimously. So I am prepared. This is what I'm saying. I am prepared for these levels marked out, whether it's coming down, whether it's holding this level and maybe tapping back down into this 42.3, about $1,000 down, or losing this and coming down and flushing any of these zones. I have buy orders in all three of these areas because when it does happen, there's no telling how fast that move happens, especially considering the fact the comments that have been being made on the global geopolitical scale right now with President Biden and Iran and everything going on in regards to what could happen there. There's no telling. And typically, unfortunately, conflict tends to, can be very good for markets, but typically when the announcement or the news or these things happen, there is a fear sell-off that happens from that. Now, will that also take place within Bitcoin? We'll have to see. The point is, nobody was prepared. Nobody, except for maybe 4 senators. Nobody was prepared when you saw this right here. And that is this black swan right here. We have to remember back here in February 2020, February into March, this is the COVID global economic shutdown. Nobody could be prepared for this. But what I want you to take from seeing this on the chart, look at this right here. Look at this move. I mean it. Look at this move. I know you've seen it before, but look at this move. That is almost a 70%, 60+% pullback in the matter of a very short period of time. that some people sold down here. Look for this if we get something terrible in the world economy, but it doesn't matter what sends the markets lower on Bitcoin in the next 3 to 6 months or year. A move like this between now and July, as the parabolic trend tends to really start taking off, if we get something that really shakes the market, this is opportunity. This is when you have dry powder on the sideline and you're so mad because the market's moving up and you're like, why don't I have it all in? Kelly told me I shouldn't have it all in. You should always have dry powder on the sideline so you could take advantage if you get a move like this. So you can take advantage of the opportunities as they present. There's a lot of stuff on the table right now on the global scale that can have a drastic impact on what's happening on price. Now, where we're at on a more local level, just looking on a technical basis, again, this is what I'm looking for. This drop here, we're getting the rise and realize that we have not even come up here into this golden pocket. This golden pocket that I have right here, if we measure this, option F from the top there to the bottom right there, look at this. Golden pocket is right here. This is that move. It looks like it's relatively high, but when you measure this, this is 61.8%. That's what the 0.618 means, 61.8%. The golden pocket, the golden ratio, the mathematical magic in how all nature is organized. It also happens to play out on charts. Why would that be? Well, each one of you is an animal. We're part of nature. This is a map of human psychology over time and the narrative that we're seeing play out between the bulls and the bears. Things, when a ball is dropped, it tends to bounce up about this high. So until we get up and clear 45 to 45.5 level, I'm not confident that this is going to make a new run to potentially retest this $48,000 to $49,000 level. As it stands right now, this still feels a little trappy until we clear this. I'm happy to be wrong. Believe me, I'm happy. But I'm looking this on a probability, on a probabilistic sort of outcome on if this does get up in here and we're seeing money flow come positive and we see a little bit of a pullback and the stochastics and RSI kind of reset and give us more room to run, great. But let's look at this on the 1 hour. On the 1 hour time frame, I mean, look at this interaction with this trend line right here as well. Now let's turn off the BitLab trading stack, and I just want to point something out. As we come into here, we got a little bit of bearish divergence on the BitLab trim fuel. The momentum here on this move to the upside, we have smaller amount of momentum, so we got a little bearish divergence there. We have a little bearish divergence between the stochastics, the orange line. We have a little bearish divergence between this RSI right here. If we see this is higher and this is lower. And so when we're looking at these divergences, if you don't know what divergences are, essentially what we're looking at is comparing what's going on with the price action to what the underlying data says about the buying pressure then and the strength then and the momentum then to where we're at now, and how do those things either agree or disagree. So on this note right here, from this point to this point, the price is much higher, but the momentum is starting to wane. So the courage of the bulls is starting to lose a little bit of steam. Now we also see with the RSI from this point right here, see this point right here to this point right here, price is higher here. But over here, as the price pushed higher, the strength is a little bit lower. So there's some underlying question right here. It doesn't mean that this can't have a very strong impulse to the upside. Excuse me. I would just be very doubtful. I would not believe in it is what I mean. It means if this does push up into here, maybe I take on my trading portfolio, not my long-term portfolio, maybe I take a little bit of profits on, a move from down here up into this zone. If this pushes up into the zone, I would take at least some profits off of that on my trading portfolio, not my long-term portfolio. You need to have those two things separate. Now we also see on the price action itself, a little bit of an M formation. Now you could say this has a higher high because of the wick, but looking here, if we're looking at the candle bodies, which is where, the candle opens and closes, the wick is how far it went within the time frame of that candle. So this is a 1 hour candle. So within this 1 hour window, this candle opened here because this is a bearish candle. So it opens at the top. And within this time frame, this moved all the way up here, all the way down here, and came back in here, showing that the bulls don't have authority on this candle. Why? Because it's going both directions and it ended up closing down. Now we're making another move right now, but we're seeing a little bit of weakness in this as the stochastics came down. They're pushing up, starting to come down. Momentum still coming down, negative money flow. So even if we get a push up, I don't believe it until we break 45.5. And there's some change and resets on what we're seeing on the volume and follow through and belief in what's happening. Now, SEI, going a little deeper on this, we were just talking about this. These are the levels below that I'd be looking for if this does break back down. Because yes, strong impulse, kind of rounded a little bit. Now, what did I talk about before? When you have a push up and then all of a sudden on a dip, you have a new lower low from that range. If this becomes a lower high, I'd be looking for this opportunity for these levels on the way down. Now, why these levels? These are those impulse reversals, impulse reversal. So I'd be looking for these levels for basically laddering my entries on a buy down, because this very well could come down, tap this and go. Very well could tap this and then come down, tap this and tap this. With where we're at in the market cycle, there's no telling how fast a pullback can reverse and shoot back to the upside, because in the nature of markets, we see this right here. Let's go ahead and draw a trend line. Look at this right here. So we have a trend line now that suggests this is a pretty substantiated target area that if this comes down into here, because we have this previous range high right here on this reversal. We also have this longer time frame, and it's not a huge amount of time, but a longer time frame of basically, remember, we're looking on these bullish trends. We're looking for the opportunity to buy when the price action comes back in contact with this area. Now, if we lose this, then I do think we're going to be coming down into these zones most certainly. But in this zone, this is really where I'm watching for a positive, a very strong opportunity to stack up. And that's not a small move. It looks small because I'm zoomed out on the daily. That's a 30% move. That means you can buy 30% more if you're just a little bit patient. Now, if this does just break out from here, who cares? You didn't miss it. You look for the next opportunity that the setup all agrees with multiple different points of data, not just the price. Don't get excited about the price. Who gives a shit about the price? I want opportunity. Opportunity comes from waiting for the confluence of data and price and the patterns we're seeing on the chart to make sure that we're stacking the probabilities in our favor. Now, when we come back over here, if we do, actually, I wanted to look at Cardano. Cardano breaking out of this range, getting rejected right here at the 382. We cannot even break this yet. If we're able to push past this, I'm really watching this 60-cent mark. If we reverse from here, I'm watching for this to come back down into the 47 to 46 cent range. And if we lose that, then I think we're going to be going lower. As it stands right now, I am welcoming any downside action and price on any of these assets that I'm interested in so that I can take advantage of the cheaper prices, because I know what's coming in this market right around the corner. Ethereum making moves. Is this making money moves though? That's what we got to ask. We got a little bit of a trend line right here. See this right here? Rejection, rejection, rejection. Now, boom, pushed out. Now, what does this mean? If we come here to the top, option F, to the bottom, we're coming right into the 382. If we measure it from this top, if we measure it from this breakdown point, we're right at the golden pocket right now. You have to be aware, you can draw fibs in multiple different areas, and you want to see where there's strongest confluence. So as it stands right now, if we break through this, I'm not necessarily looking immediately at this level. I'm looking at this zone right here. Why? Oops. Why this level right here? This is where this rejected over here. This bounced here. This bounced on the bottom of this box. This bounced on the top of this box. So you see, this gave me a region, and this is short of this golden pocket. Now, if we do this on the smaller time frame and go like this, this shows that this would, yeah. All right, let's do it right there, actually, yeah. Because this comes right into where the 786 would be, and we're sitting right here in the middle of this golden pocket right now from this measurement. Now, if this does reject anywhere in here, I'd be watching for a retest of this trend line right here. And if we lose that, then potentially we'd be coming down to test, down in here, and then down in this zone right in here. So the market is starting to paint the picture of what we're looking for. Now we see on the graph, we have this trend line, and it's nowhere near yet breaking out of this. And we also see, look at this, price action's trying to push back up. Look how much lower on the Luxalgo oscillator matrix. It's lower in its rounding, showing weakness. We're looking at this on the BitLab trading stack, coming right into an order block right here. And stochastics angled over. Look, bearish, 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 mostly bearish signals here. We're getting some signals on this chart. Atom also looking like we just saw on GRT, but this is looking even weaker because we had the push up, M formation, lower low right here, lower high. If we cannot hold this region, and essentially I'd say if we lost this trend signal line right here at 948, if we lose this, then I do think we're coming back down to test down to 9 and then down to the 880s. We also have a little bit of, we're seeing some weakness. Every time the stochastics come up in reverse, we're seeing these price actions reverse. Came right into this order block right in here. All right, now what do we see on XRP? XRP, all these are looking very similar, eerily similar. Markets are following the lead of each other right now. So coming up into this line, rejection, rejection, rejection. Coming down, if we lose this trend signal line, 52, I think we're coming back down into this zone, this double order block zone. We have this previous order block, and then we printed a new order block right here. This tells me if we come down in here, we'll likely get a bit of a bounce here at the 49 to 50 cent range on XRP. Quant, remember we were talking about breaking down from up here, talking about I was calling over here for a potential test back near the 100 mark. And where did this go? Look at this. This came all the way down to, let's see where the low is. I'm looking right here, OHLC, open, high, low, close of each candle. So that low is 101. This low is 121. So this basically bounced $100. Bounced on $100. We got negative money flow here. Negative money flow, which does not bode well for us wanting us to break out. So we got a bit of a trend line right here, maybe. No, right there. Okay. So this is the trend line. So we see this is a bounce, rejection, rejection, rejection. And we got a little bit of a, is this a bit of a bear flag kind of deal? It's ugly, whatever it is. Symmetrical triangle. But if we lose this level here, which is perfectly kind of in line with where this trend signal line is, if we lose a weekly VWAP, this yellow line, and this trend line, as well as this trend signal line right here, then I do think we're testing back here about the $102 range. And if we lose that, we may go a bit lower. But things want to bounce right now, but they're not showing the signs of life to really get that fuel to the upside. Now, I do want to say, everybody, I'm going to share this with you right now. We got 180 people in the room. We got 67 likes. If we can get this over 100 likes right now, every single one of you hit the like button. I will share you a special link that you can get a 30-day free trial to the BitLab Academy Discord, as well as an opportunity, if you sign up for that, for the lowest bundled price we've ever offered for all the stuff, our indicators, the Discord, the courses, everything we have. I'll share that link for you right now. Every single one of you hit that like button. Now, I want to come over here to our Discord, the premium Discord. Corduroy was sharing this. Remember, I was talking about that $45,000 level. Well, look at this. Well, look-de-loo. Other data suggesting very similar sort of trouble zones. $45,000 is right here. Look at this. All this red, or sorry, very hot, very bright colors right here. What does this mean? It means that there's a lot of there's a lot of sell pressure coming into this zone right here. There's a lot of liquidations, I should say, not sell pressure. So coming up into this zone, it's almost acting like a magnet. It's almost as if the market makers want to come up here and scoop up this free liquidity, in which case we'll likely get a very quick move up here, which is be known as a short squeeze. Because it would lack the underlying follow through, it's forced buying, likely get a Bart Simpson pattern and break back down. What would that look like on the chart? What that would look like on the chart, ooh, we can see that actually. Where was that? That would look something like this. Very quick move, chop, and then break down. So if we look at this right here on Bitcoin, we're looking at the 1 hour chart. What that would look like is if the price starts pushing up. Let's see. Price starts pushing up, and we get, and we get that short squeeze, a very quick move up, maybe here into this 786, and then a little bit of chop, test down, fake out, and then break back down like this. We got to be cognizant of quick moves in the market when things are so tight as they are right now. So I see we only need 25 more likes. Everybody hit that like button. I'll be sharing this with you right now. Now, before we go, before we do that, I also wanted to show you there's, Phantom. Phantom, look at this. Move up, triple top, boom, boom, boom. And look at this, momentum much weaker. money flow coming out. I do not believe this move. You see how you can look at the price. And if I just look at the price and I say, man, oh yeah, it's about to break through. But then look at this, high selling volume. And then the price action moves up more with less volume. That's already warning number one. Okay. Now we're looking right here. The momentum larger. We had some bearish divergence. This is what this line is right here. And price breaks down. But then on this next impulse up, momentum's much lower. And the stochastics are trending to the downside. The RSI is getting rejected here each time it comes up. The money flow, you can't have plants grow without money. So the money flow is coming out as everybody, this is a fake move. This is what the chart is telling me right now. This is not to be believed. Price action, this is when you're following price. I'm going to jump in before I miss it. But then those of you that are looking at the data, waiting for that stoplight action protocol, waiting for the green light, green light, green light, go. Because if you get red light, red light, red light, meaning you don't like, this is a red light. Momentum is smaller as the price is pushing up. One red light. You have lower volume, second red light, okay? Now you're coming up into a trend line area and getting rejected time and time again. You're getting your third and negative money flow, third red light. So would you take a long? Would you hit the gas to go on a long if you had 3 red lights? No. You play a reversal. 3 red lights on a long kind of means 3 green lights on potentially a short to go short, right? So this is what we want to be paying attention to. ICP. Ooh, a bit of a move to the downside. Was it telegraphed? Well, look at this. Impulse, smaller impulse. See this? Large impulse, smaller impulse, rounding top. And now we're getting rejected at this trend line. If we do make a move to the upside, I'm watching very curiously right here in the 1230 range. If we can't even get up into this zone here where these previous lows are, likely move to the downside. Where? I'd say probably about right here. Why? Because we have the tops here. We have a rejection here. We have a lot of interaction here with the rejection. We have support right here, rejection right here. So this is that area I'm watching. First level down, 1142. If we lose that, then maybe further down. Now we got 84 likes. We got 181 people in the room. Every single one of you, again, remember, hop here over right down below the page. If yours does not say subscribed, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe. If you want to join, become a member, get access to all the emojis. All you members out there, drop some emojis. And I share some stuff from the premium Discord in the members members only post area as well in here. And I'm going to be doing a lot more of that. And by the way, with that being said, I do want to say, again, make sure you're subscribed. Hit that join button if you see it. Hit the like button. And also, make sure you come over here in the BitLab Discord. You see 2 events right here at the top. Today's event, right here. Alex Green is going to be putting on a little bit of a session breaking down the BitLab trading stack, showing you how to read some of the signals, showing you how to basically understand the matrix of information that you're able to gather. And then tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time, we got Joshua Jake in here showing his windshield wiper method and how he plays the range when the price action is moving around based on what's happening with the longs and short liquidations and all this sort of stuff. Now, we didn't get to 100 likes, but I love you guys anyway. So if you would, I'm putting this in the chat right now. Putting this there in the chat. Let me go ahead and pin this. That link right there has a link only for you insiders. It's actually to some people in Josh's group. But if you go there, if you can sign up for the premium Discord right now, free for 30 days. You can get all the access to these members streams. You can get access to all these gym calls and spot trades and macro stuff. I mean, there's so much in here. Chart requests, stuff from Tim. I'm doing stuff, sharing stuff in here. JJ, there's so much in the premium Discord. So go in there, sign up. You get the free 30-day trial. And then after you sign up for that, it'll give you an opportunity. If you want to upgrade, you can get the full bundle. You can get the full bundle for only an extra, I think it's $57 rather than the 100-something plus that everything is. And you can only get it through that long link. And I'm only sharing with some of you guys right here because you guys are here on a daily basis. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Make sure, again, you check out the bitlabacademy.com page. Go through the different courses. If you get involved here, you can enroll here. But you can also use that link that I have up there in the top. Take advantage of that. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I got to roll because I have an intern coming in that's going to be helping out with some stuff. Now, each and every one of you, before you go, I want you to ask what you're grateful for today. You can share it in the chat. And are you prepared if price goes down from here? Does it excite you? Does it frustrate you? Ask yourself that question. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Again, I'll see you later. Adios. I always do this. I always do this. Make sure you check out decrypted.tax. Make sure you get your crypto taxes in order so you don't be behind, so you don't become behind the ball. Remember, have a crypto tax professional do this because there's so many different intricacies with what's going on with all the different wallets. And if you get money back, you can put it back in the market before the market explodes. So check this out, decrypted.tax/hit. You get 25% off your pricing as well as a free consultation. Take advantage of this. Thank you very much. That's all I got. Adios, muchachos. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. BitLabAcademy.com. Hit that like button, sucker.